Do you ever notice how people move toward you when you move back? It's almost like they can't help it. Today we're going to talk about why moving away makes you more beautiful. And it's not just a Stoic says that there is power in distance, which seems to fit with this coincidence. From making you look stronger and more mysterious to giving you more confidence and peace of mind, here are 9 things that happen when you let go. Are you ready to learn how to use self-control to master the art of attraction? Let's start with the power of space and distance. Makes you want someone. You've probably seen it before. The strange allure of someone who doesn't make it seem like they need you. It's the pull of someone who isn't always there, who has. They have their own lives and don't depend on yours. That's an obvious truth about this distance. Draws people to you, but why not break it down? You show independence when you make space for yourself. You're telling yourself, I'm not depending on anyone else for my happiness or approval. This sends a strong message to others, whether you're with them professionally, in a friendship, or in a relationship. Setting all of a sudden you're not the person who is always reachable, always there, always saying yes. You become someone whose presence is earned, not assumed. And that shift Stoicism comes into play here because the Stoic believed in not in a cold or detached way, but in a way that stressed inner strength. They didn't believe you should depend on outside events or other people's views to make you happy. Instead, true happiness comes from within. This way of thinking fits nicely with the idea of distance when you take a step back, both physically and when you feel personally in charge of your own sense of self-worth. It's easy to believe that being always ready, answering every message within seconds, going to all social events, or always being so that someone will like you or want to date you more. But in fact, it can have the opposite effect. People value things that are hard to get. If you're always around, people will stop wanting to be around you. When you're away, you give other people a chance to miss you and see how important you are to them. Desire. You should remember the last time you were really drawn to someone or something. Wasn't based on habit. It wasn't the person you saw every day, or the person who answered every call. Message right away. It was probably someone with their own life and goals. They weren't always available, which made them interesting. This idea is clear in all parts of life, not just relationships. Think about a work setting the most. People who are successful don't constantly chase deals, clients, or chances because they know how much they're worth. And when they show confidence, other people come to them. It works the same way the farther away you are from needing something. It's true that the more you naturally attract something or someone, the more of it you'll get. It's not about being distant or missing. It's not about being hard to get or controlling other people. True space comes from being sure of yourself. It means knowing what you're worth and being okay with that. Self-validation and not counting on outside approval. When you do this, you naturally give off an energy that draws people to you. The idea of making space to make people want something isn't new. It's been around for a long time. This has been around for a long time. The ancient Stoics did it every day because they think that by separating, they tried to protect themselves from the result, whether it was a relationship, a business deal, or something else outside of their control. One of the great Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not possible to find true peace. It's not what happens to you that counts, but how you react to it. When you stop wanting a certain outcome or reaction, you free yourself." This kind of detachment doesn't mean apathy, but it does often lead to it. You can make deeper, more meaningful links because you're not trying to control or trick things. People can feel when you're being yourself, and that sincerity is hard to resist. When someone is happy with who they are, it simply brings people closer. How can you use this in your life? Neediness turns people off in all areas of life, not just sexual ones. Whether it's in a friendship, a work relationship, or a relationship with a coworker, constantly looking for. It seems strange, but the more you look for something, the less you find. You'll be more likely to get what you want next if you take a step back and let things happen automatically. Being able to handle being by yourself is a strong skill. It lets you recover, think, and return to your deal with people and relationships from a place of power instead of need. When you don't need constant interaction or approval, you feel more centered, and other people notice. Finally, be deliberate about how you use when you do show up, whether in person, over the phone, or online. Make it count by giving your all, being present and being real, and then take a step back. This rhythm of engagement and space makes people want to be around you, not because you're always open, but because you're choosing to be. Remember that space isn't about avoiding or manipulating people. It's about getting a feeling of independence both in how you see yourself and how other people see you, means knowing you're being at ease with space and letting attraction grow spontaneously is worth it in the end. The idea behind space is to let yourself and others enjoy what you have to offer by taking a step back. When you let other people take the lead, you give them a chance to see how valuable you are, to miss you, and to want you when two people are together. Attraction isn't just a chance, it's a given. 2. The power of self-control in a world where feelings are strong. Keeping your cool is a strong skill that often determines what you do. Think of a high-stakes negotiation or a heated fight. Emotions are high, voices rise, and it's hard to understand what's being said blurs. In the middle of all this chaos, one person stands still and cool. Unshakable isn't just a strategy. It shows how strong you really are when you can keep your emotions have power that lasts beyond the present moment. It's easy to give in to them and let them carry you away. However, the real test and trait of a calm warrior is restraint, the ability to pull back, to step back and look at what's going on with clarity. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a showing of great strength in the heat of the moment when tempers flare and judgment is clouded. Those who stay calm earn respect. But others see this calm attitude as a fortress of strength, a firm dedication to reason in the face of feeling tumult. This respect isn't just given, it's gained by practicing emotional control every time if you stay calm instead of reacting on the spot, you build your image as someone who can be trusted. Respect and admiration. Picture yourself getting through. Using this calm attitude, you can handle the tricky parts of life like relationships, work, or personal problems. By avoiding emotional contact, you not only keep your mind healthy, but you also give off an air of authority. Figures are drawn to people who seem calm. They tend to gravitate toward people who look like they have things under control. Having a magnetic quality becomes an important social skill. In reality, this means taking a moment to breathe before reacting is about pausing when anger or anxiety comes up for those brief moments. At times, you have the power to choose how to respond. Instead of reacting, you can choose the story. Take charge of your future instead of letting outside forces shape it. In these situations, this doesn't mean hiding your feelings or not being human. Stoicism tells us that having feelings is a normal part of life. What counts is how we deal with them. It's about recognizing your feelings without being shaped by them. You can be angry, scared, or sad, and still choose to respond with grace and calmness. This is what emotional intelligence is all about, and a key part of developing this skill will help you make stronger connections and gain respect as you go. Every time you meet someone, you'll notice a difference in how they see you and how you see yourself. When you can keep your feelings in check, you boost your confidence and become less likely to be hurt. To the whims of outside approval based on the knowledge of where your strengths lie, Stoics say that controlling your feelings is like working out a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. Start slowly and do this every day. It could be every time you have a frustrating exchange at work or a small problem during the day, it's a chance to get better at controlling your emotions so that you can pull back and choose how to react instead of over time. This practice changes how you deal with coworkers, friends, and your family will get used to seeing you every day, and they'll respect you for more than just what you say. Which way you say it is based on clarity and not on passing feelings. This improved respect can make your relationships better by helping you build stronger bonds based on mutual admiration. Understanding that stopping doesn't mean being alone. It means taking a step back to see things from a different angle, giving yourself time and space to think about and deal with your feelings before taking this choice. Withdrawal gives you the strength to go back to talks with more clarity and purpose. You become more than just a participant, but a leader in discussions who steers them toward positive results instead of letting your feelings control the flow. Finally, how strong you are at managing your feelings and how smart you are of knowing when to pull back will set you apart. It makes people want to respect your authority and look for ways to work with you. Your advice makes you a bright spot of clarity in a world full of noise and chaos, and peace to help others through rough waters. 3. The allure of mystery. When you walk into a room, everyone looks at you. What's your secret? It's not just what you wear or how sure you are of yourself. It's the mysterious air you give off. When you project a mysterious air, you make people want to know more about you. Curiosity is a strong way to get people to pay attention. In a world full of information and people trying to get your attention, being mysterious makes you stand out. Great thinkers and leaders in history, like Socrates and Da Vinci, and even current people like Steve Jobs. They were masters at leaving things unanswered, which kept people interested. It's not that they didn't say as much, they just picked the right words, leaving holes that others want to fill with their imagines. So how do you create this powerful presence? Start by being aware of it. Look at how you show yourself. Are you open and honest? Or do you leave room for other people to interpret you? That doesn't mean you should lie. It just means you should be careful about what you share. Don't make up lies or hide who you really are. Instead, think about your narrative, share ideas, but don't go into too much detail, which makes people want to learn more. Next, think about how powerful silence can be in talks. Don't rush to fill every stop and welcome the space where your thoughts can grow. Letting silence last for a long time makes others to participate more deeply. They're left wondering what you're thinking and what you know that they do. You think this can lead to deeper conversations that bring people closer as they try to peel back the layers? On the surface, another good approach is to ask more questions than you answer. By turning the attention back to other people, you not only get them to share their thoughts, but you also make yourself look like a listener, an interesting part that keeps them interested. It's natural to want to feel like you're important. Word on the street is that the more you ask someone about themselves, the more they'll want to know about you. Additionally, keep in mind that the curiosity you're fostering, your posture, your easy movements, and your steady eye contact show that you are sure of yourself. Add to the mystery vibe. You don't have to show everyone how you're feeling. A small smile can do the trick, or a knowing look can say a lot without words. People are naturally drawn to those who seem sure of themselves and calm, which adds to the interest in who you are and what you do. Also, think about the stories you tell. Each story you tell can become a chance to build your mystery. Choose stories that show off your experiences without going over all of them. Detail. Maybe you had a unique path to get where you are now, one that was full of struggles and successes. Instead of telling every detail, give interesting snippets that make people want to know what happened next, letting them use their ideas to fill in the blanks. Finally, remember the power of authenticity. It's important to create an air of mystery, but you have to stay true to yourself. Quickly fades if it seems fake or forced. Stay true to who you are and let your unique qualities shine through. Being real and mysterious at the same time is a powerful combination that draws people in. Interested in building mystery and suspense isn't just about how you look, it's also about, once you learn how to make real bonds with other people, they'll not only listen to you, but will also be drawn to your thoughts and ideas, and they'll be eager to learn more about the deepest parts of your mind. Eager to go on a journey of learning with you that goes beyond in a world that values honesty and openness a lot. Accepting mystery can be a nice change of pace. It makes you want to talk, connect, and be interested, which are all important parts of any relationship, personal or professionals. Remember the power you have the next time you walk into a place. Your presence can captivate people. Just keep your mystery a secret and watch as people become interested and want to know more about you. The difficulties that lie within 4. The art of self-valorization. Picture yourself in a crowded room full of people talking. As the faces spin around you like a caffeinated whirlwind, you look for ones you know. But something changes. Instead of looking for approval from others, you focus on yourself. This is where the magic happens. When you turn your attention from the noise outside to the wealth inside, something transformative starts to happen. Your self-worth isn't based on what other people think. It grows in the rich soil of self-awareness. When you're thinking a lot about yourself, your confidence grows and you become aware of your skills. Different, and being aware of that becomes your strength as you leave this experience. You're not just leaving the room. You're entering a new version of yourself with your head held high. With your shoulders back and a new light in your eyes, people can tell that something has changed. Being confident is like a magnet. It pulls people in, grabs their attention, and sets them on fire. Interesting, but let's take a closer look at what happens when you raise your self-worth first. You start to interact with the world in a different way. Instead of being afraid of being judged, you go into. When you connect with others in an open way, you're not tied to the need for approval. Instead, you're free to look into relationship ideas and chances without the crushing weight of. When we question ourselves, the Stoics' ideas really shine through. They teach us that our worth is built in, not something we earn. Depending on outside factors, they stress how important it is to focus on how to manage your thinking. Let go of the rest of your actions and reactions. This is the most important part of building self-worth. Personal journey that depends on internal measures instead of praise from others. Think about the idea of take time during your day to ask yourself, what do I value? What makes me unique? This isn't a meaningless question. Exercise is about going inside yourself and figuring out what situations have made you who you are today. This self-reflection helps you remember the lessons you've learned from hard times and the victories that have made you stronger. A deep knowledge of yourself that sets the stage for strong self-worth. Being thankful every day is another strong habit. You respect things about yourself. These could be your determination, your creativity, your kindness, or any number of other things. Resonate with you. By consciously noticing these traits, you strengthen your sense of value, and gratitude acts as a mirror to show you your strengths and tell you of your worth in a world that is often chaotic. The world. Join a group that supports your journey, and surround yourself with people who encourage and push you to look for talks that make you think and give you new ideas. Horizons. The energy of a helpful network can make you feel like you belong, and boost your confidence works both ways. As you boost your own self-worth, you boost the self-worth of others. As your self-confidence grows, so does your ability to get around in the world. When you set your mind on it, you start to see life's problems not as risks but as chances to grow. When bad things happen, you don't give up. Instead, you stand tall, knowing that your worth will never change. This way of thinking is strong. Lets you be uncomfortable, take calculated risks, and follow your interests with vigor. Keep in mind that this trip isn't going to be a straight line. There will be days when self-doubt sneaks in, sneaky doubts that threaten your newfound self-assurance. It's important to see these times not as mistakes but as part of the process. Lean on the Stoics' lessons and think about how things change all the time. Feelings and how important it is to be strong. Reaffirm your pledge to self-worth and watch as you rise time and again. The great thing about focusing on yourself is that it frees you up. Don't have to try to get other people's support. Instead, you become the architect of your own self-image and build it on purpose. And purpose, this freedom gives you the power to live honestly by matching your actions with your values in line with your goals and values. 5. Independence has the power to draw people from far away. Independence isn't just it's like going into a room not looking for approval, but giving off your own magnetic force. Sureness. When you put some space between yourself and others, both physically and emotionally, you send them a deep message. This distance works as a beacon, shining a light on your independence and confidence, which are natural to you. Attract people to you. Think about the people in your life who command. When they want respect, they don't always go after it. Instead, they work on being independent, which makes them stand out. It's not about being distant, it's about knowing how valuable you are. Letting that actionable affect how you deal with other people. When you're sure of who you are, you naturally attract people who are like you. People who like strong people are often unconsciously drawn to people who are sure of themselves. Isn't just a physical draw, but a deeper one based on respect the more you stand up for your own rights. This change not only makes you feel better about your own self-worth, but it also affects how others see you. Makes you more attractive to other people in a world full of noise and nonstop connectivity. Independence is even more important when you give yourself room in your ideas and in the people you talk to. Realizing that your worth doesn't depend on other people being there or liking you, this concept fits perfectly with Stoic thought, which tells us to concentrate on what we can manage and ignore what we can't. Imagine the freedom that comes from having this kind of mindset. You start to interact with people who aren't coming from a place of being in a state of abundance means you don't need attention and are instead open to important connections that are in line with your ideals. It's interesting that when you stop looking for others, they start looking for you. You think about how powerful your body language is and what it says. People who are sure of themselves naturally take up space and keep an open stance that makes people want to talk. They don't fidget or hover, they stay rooted in their decisions and views. This is how they communicate without words. Space makes you more independent and draws people to you, but it doesn't mean you're alone. Finding the right mix between being close and having space is important for real connections to grow in this dynamic. By setting limits and communicating clearly, you encourage people to connect with you on a deeper level. Relationships based on mutual respect instead of dependence. This also gives you a chance to think about yourself. It lets you look at your wants, needs, and beliefs without the because of outside stresses. You learn to enjoy your own company, which makes you more self-aware. Emotional intelligence means knowing yourself well enough to know how to help others. Others even more appealing. In the end, the key to independence and trust lies in the realizing that you are valuable and sufficient as you are, gives you the strength to interact with others. Being honest with others about your independence makes you strong, which attracts who get you at your core. As you go through life, remember that the space you make is asserting your independence, and confidence is a strong tool for connection. By doing this, you build a presence that other people are naturally drawn to you. Embrace this trip and watch as the world changes to fit your newfound. In the end, it's not enough to just attract people. You need to attract the right ones. Live a life full of positive energy. In independence, and let the world bring you people who love you for who you really are. Are 6 ways that inner calm can draw people to you in our fast-paced world. The noise is always there, threatening to destroy our inner peace. But there is a deep truth rooted in think about a world where stoicism and the power of physical and mental distance to bring balance and calm. The tranquility you give off attracts others like moths to a flame. This isn't just a crazy idea. We're talking about a useful way of living that can change your relationships and the way you think about things. We're not pushing for isolation or disconnecting. Instead, we're looking into the idea of making room. What's this? It's not between you and the noise, stress, and other things that make up everyday life. Take a step back and listen to your own inner environment. It's not about shutting yourself off. Give yourself time to think, process, and come up with a better answer. Point of view, picture yourself in a crowded room where the noise of many words blending into one cacophony. You choose to get away from it all, even if it's just for a moment. You find a quiet place, take a deep breath, and close your eyes. Eyes in this stillness, you get in touch with your feelings, thoughts, and the core of who you are. This small act of as you make this a habit, stepping back lets you recalibrate to settle yourself and find your center again. When you start to show a sense of calm that other people can see, something amazing happens. It's not about pushing yourself to feel that way. To be calm, you have to let that calmness come from inside you. People are drawn to people who are quiet, radiate tranquility, and don't seem to mind the chaos going on around them. Your ability to keep your balance even when things are going wrong is impressive. Inspires others to think about the old Stoics. They taught us that how we see things affects what we experience. When we face problems, it's easy to let our emotions take over. We can watch our responses, though. if we take a step back from both our thoughts and the outside world. Observing our reactions without judging them lets us choose our answers consciously, rather by acting proactively. We take back our power. Imagine that you are having a tough talk, and instead of getting upset, you take a moment to breathe. To center yourself, you know that there could be conflict, but you choose to react with clarity, and people notice the calmness that changes not only the talk, but also the whole interaction. Shift. They can feel the change in energy and are drawn to your stability. But how do we include adding this practice to our daily lives is easy. The key is to make a schedule that includes regular times to think. Set aside time every day to be alone and do something you enjoy, like meditation, writing in a book, or just sitting. In a quiet way, these practices make a safe place where you can get away from the chaos, even if only for a short time. While you're getting used to this routine, you'll probably face pushback from both inside and outside sources. People often praise being busy, thinking that it means they are productive and successful. But real production is not the same thing. Measured not by how much we do, but by how well our deeds match our values. When you put moments first of space and thought, you connect with a greater purpose as you grow this inner balance. Get ready to see a spread effect. Your calmness will affect the people around you, making more friends, family, and co-workers will start to seek your company during rough times if you create a peaceful environment. You become a lighthouse in a storm by being the sanctuary you represent. Toward tranquility, and as your relationships grow, you'll discover that conversation shift. Instead of shallow conversations, you'll have deep conversations that push you, and people are naturally drawn to people who are calm and sure of themselves, making an environment where sincerity and openness can grow the power of space to find inner peace that draws others to you. What if the key to looking better isn't what you do, but what you don't do? Think about it. We live in a world full of hustle, constant involvement, and endless interactions. Taking a step back is sometimes the best thing you can do. Power moves are the art of keeping your distance, not to avoid or show that you're better. You can connect with your inner peace more deeply when you make space for it. The focus from the chaos outside to the calm inside. This change in focus is so powerful that you'll never want to go back. Your goal isn't to get praise or validation, but to develop something that others naturally want. That something is inner peace, and it shines like a light It's simple to mix up peace and inaction, but they're not the same thing. Getting away from the noise is an active step toward peace that takes work, discipline, and intention. You're not running away from the world. Instead, you're making it possible for you to connect with it in your own way. People around you find you more interesting. So why is this so appealing to others? Let's break it down. Our brains are wired to look for security to move toward. Is there something steady and reliable in a world where everyone is trying to show themselves? They're not swayed by everything, they're not responding to everything, and they're not playing the game of they are always competing, which makes them impossible to avoid. It's a paradox that the more you stay away from outside validation, the more validation someone gets, the more people value that person. Doesn't have to be the loudest person in the room or the one who always seems cool, even when things are crazy. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's happening in the real world. Strategy. Think about the people you respect the most. They are not the ones who are always trying to get attention. They are the ones who seem sure of themselves even when they don't say a word. They don't seem affected by life's ups and downs, and that's what draws you to them. In the same way, when you take some time to find your own center, you become the calm in the storm and people look up to you. I can't help but notice. But here's the thing. This isn't about tricking people or playing a game of some kind. Of psychological game. It's about putting yourself and your health first. When you work on growing peace of mind, you're not doing it for other people. You're doing it for yourself. For this reason, being beautiful is not the goal. This is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics were great at this because they knew that the outside world is full of noise, temptations, and chaos. They didn't run away from it, but they also didn't let it run their lives either. Instead, they dealt with their own ideas, feelings, and actions by focusing on what they could change. They found peace that made them unbreakable that way. The lesson here is easy to understand, but profound. When you block out the noise around you, you gain clarity. And when you have clarity, you feel confident. Being clear about who you are and what matters to you means that you're not easily moved by what other people say or do. When most people think of it this way, they want to become the master of their own world. Being caught up in a whirlwind of action and always responding to what's going on around them, they're like ships, tossed around in a storm with no clear path. But when you make room for take a step back and look at your inner world, you'll see that you are the lighthouse in the midst of the waves of confusion, and that's very appealing. Keeping your distance doesn't mean cutting people off. It's not about shutting yourself off or pulling away totally. It's about putting up a healthy wall between you and the world's distractions. Being careful with your time and energy means picking when to spend them, and when to step back, not because you're cold, but because you value your peace more than the short-term pleasure of constant contact. And the great thing about this method is that it's long-lasting. It's not about putting on a show or keeping up a front. When you develop inner peace, what you do is a natural part of who you are. You don't have to work at it. It just is. And that's where. When you walk into a room full of people trying to outdo each other, that's when the real magic happens. Whether it's through words, actions, or looks. Now picture yourself calm and in control, not needing to show that people do notice and can feel the change, even if it's not very big. It's strong, but it's not about detachment in the sense of being alone. It's about emotional independence means that you don't count on other people or things to give you a sense of peace or worth. You don't have to worry about what other people think, so you can live your life on your own. Terms, how do you get there? It doesn't happen overnight like anything good. Trying to find inner peace takes time, practice, and patience. It all starts with little things like setting limits, taking time to think and getting used to being alone. The more you move away from someone from outside noise, the more in tune you are with your own thoughts, and the more in tune you are, the more peace you feel. When everyone around you is asking you to do more, be more, and engage more, the real power is in doing less, being picky, and making room. In this place, you can find yourself, and when you do, you attract other people. True attraction comes from being yourself, not what you do, and it's easy to see who you are when let the world chase the noise while you work on your own peace. Can, on the other hand, find strength in the space between them and the quiet security that comes from knowing yourself deeply, and that is impossible to resist. 8th, the power of letting go. Why needing less gets you more. Imagine that you're in a room full of people, and everyone is trying to get your attention. Some people are dying to be seen. Their energy is like a flare in the night sky demanding attention. Others stand still and feel their calm presence. Getting people to come to them when they don't need it, they've achieved an art that few people understand, making the paradox of life seem pointless. The less you need something, the more likely you are to get it. It's almost like a law in relationships. It seems strange, but it works. You could call it a law of human nature, or a people have a psychological quirk that makes them want to chase what seems impossible and value what's hard to get. Sure of yourself. When was the last time someone called or texted you constantly to get your attention? Most likely felt overwhelmed or even a little turned off right now. Now compare that to someone who was truly, someone who is interested, stays away from someone who doesn't chase them or demand they become much more. You find them interesting and begin to wonder about them and think about them more. Your interest in them grows not because of what they say or do, but because of what they don't say or do. That's what it means to appear. It doesn't matter when you show up in life or a relationship as someone who isn't trying to get likes, admiration, or acceptance. When you make a connection, something powerful happens. You make room for other people to step in. You become a chance, not a threat. By taking on the load, you change the game from chasing to attracting, and people start to pay you.